When you went to WCW, I mean, you end up having so many gimmicks in the end. But when you get to WCW, you can't be Brutus the Barber Beefcake. You can't even have a pair of scissors. So what was that like for you, knowing that you're coming into WCW, but you can't really give any nod to the gimmick you've just done for the last 10 years?
It was very frustrating. It was very hard to be stuck in a position like that and just trying to make money and keep them. I wound up having a daughter and still got married having a daughter, and so I'm just trying to keep the family fed. And that was this gimmick, the butcher, the man with no name, there, whatever it took. That's what I had to do, and I became the booty man. Then I did the Zodiac thing in a movie called Mr. Nanny that we filmed in Miami, and it was a nightmare sequence with Hogan in the ring, remembering his wrestling career, and they liked so much that they put me in the Dungeon of Doom as the Zodiac. It was pretty easy. All I had to do was run around and go, yes, no, yes, no. I didn't have to interview, didn't have to, and run with my eyes wide open and run around and chop people or kick and punch and everything, and then run back. And I mean, it was an easy gimmick.
Well, because when you came into WCW, you were the masked man, and you were attacking Hogan, and then eventually it's revealed to be you. You're the Butcher, and you headlined that year's Starcade against him. And it's interesting because sometimes I think people kind of go, oh, Hogan and the Butcher at Starcade '94, like it's not looked back on as a big match. But the year before, when Flair and Vader headlined Starcade, your one did more buys than that one. Why do you think it is? Was it your association with Hogan that people were kind of ragging on it? Like, why do you think that didn't mean more?
Yeah, there was a lot of jealousy. Unfortunately, in our business, there's a lot of jealousy. People thought I was getting all the preferential treatment and everything. But Hogan needed me. More than I needed him. I did all the stunt work and all his movies, everything he did. I was there and did all kind of stuff. Motorcycle stunts, boats, underwater and diving in the Bahamas, filming all kind of crazy stuff, rappelling out of helicopters, explosions, firing automatic weapons. I did all kind of stuff and did all the stunts and made him look tremendously good. So he needed me more than that. And so, he'd throw me a bone. He'd say, hey, let Brutus be the so-and-so. So in a way, I mean, I'm helping him. He's helping me. And it was working. Wasn't exactly what I had in mind, and I was hoping someday that eventually when the trademark expired, I would become Brutus Beefcake again, and that's what happened.
I mean, how tough was it? You talked about this in your book. How tough was it to kind of politically deal with the fact that Hulk is always pitching for stuff for you to do, but then the writers aren't pitching for stuff for you to do, but they want to make Hulk happy? Like, it must have been a weird dynamic for you to have to deal with.
It was really weird. Eric Bischoff hated my guts.
Why do you think he hated you?
Yeah, well, he hated the relationship that, Hogan and I were, good friends. We traveled, been friends for, 30 years or whatever. And he wanted to be Hulk's buddy, or something. I don't know, but yeah, he fired me 3 times. Twice by fax to my house. I don't know. He's a crook. Him and his partner, guy's name was Jason Hervey. I don't know. He's Wonder Years or some morning show the guy was in and everything. And those two con people into giving their hard-earned money to try to do some kind of a show or some this or that. People would put all their money in, and then they'd say, it just didn't quite catch on, and the networks just didn't quite want it. They'd get all these people's money, and when it was some time to make a real product or do anything, they never did. they'd always had an excuse, and they were just stealing, a license to steal. And it's like, I hated it. I knew he was a phony. Eric Bischoff, he never put on a pair of wrestling boots. So in my opinion, he don't know a damn thing about wrestling in the ring. You know? And he didn't, but he had everybody buffaloed. I mean, they're giving him jobs. They're throwing money at him left and right, you know. But I got one of the times that he fired me, we were, me and Macho and him were in Hogan's Mercedes flying to the east coast of Florida to meet Jim Duggan and help him with a little gym he was having. We were going to a grand opening, so we blazed a trail over there. And while we were in the car, I got the phone call from the fax just came in. I was fired again. And I'm driving. I'm going 100, blazing in. Hogan gets on the phone with Eric. Hey, you know, Eric, how come you keep firing Brutus? Why don't you fire him again? He didn't have, you know, he's just stupid. And so then he got somebody else from the office, and it actually helped. It actually got me a raise in pay. They paid me an extra $50,000 a year after that. So he actually did me a favor by firing me, if you can believe that. But yeah, it just, you know, and the NWO, the whole thing. I mean, I got in such, they finally said, we're saying, you know, we need some more wrestlers. And Hogan's like, well, you got Brutus. He's sitting here. He ain't doing nothing. Why can't you use him? Oh, he's done all these characters. He's been the Booty Man. He's been the Man with No Name. He's been the Zodiac. He's done this. He's done that. We just can't repackage him again. So, okay, I said, you know what? Okay, sure. Went home, started a crazy low-carb diet, dropped 45 pounds, got my body fat ratio down to 6% or 5%, and was shredded, like 43 years old, like not exactly, you know, a young pup, and shredded, and came out and went to the CNN Tower in Atlanta, where the office was, and with my leather gimmicks and the chaps and all the stuff, with the beard and everything. Walked in. Nobody had a clue who I was. And he walks in with me and says, hey, I got to introduce you to my new disciple. And they all were oogling and ogling. Oh, my God, look at this guy. Oh, my God, oh, my God. And then after a couple of minutes, he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, Brutus Beefcake? Half of them almost themselves. The other half ran out of the room because they were so embarrassed that they had no clue who I was, and made them eat all their words about saying how we can't use Brutus because he's been all this other thing, and then just stuck it up their ass.
And you do the disciple thing, and then obviously you get moved over to the One Warrior Nation, but then because Warrior lasts like 2 months, you end up then. But there's nothing for you to do at that point. So then I think I looked up. You and Hogan had a match on Nitro in January of '99 that was so kind of unmemorable because it was just a random match on Nitro. I mean, that's got to be tough for you. You've got in this shape, you've done all this stuff, and just it all fizzles out.
Well, part of the problem was the shape I was in, you know, and I'm a good wrestler, and the way I looked better and could wrestle better than half the guys. And so they didn't even want to let me in the ring because I made them look sick. I mean, you know, just, they look like next to me, standing next to me. And then so, you know, and these are the big brains and the big, you know, the big deals, so they don't have to admit, you know, the whole time that I was right there, everything. And so they wouldn't even let me wrestle, basically, at all. I could maybe interfere in a match with Sting or do something here or there, a couple little things, but they wouldn't even let me. They wouldn't let me wrestle, and I knew it was only a matter of time. And then the WCW, they sold out to some big company, and the company came in and did a big audit. They realized there's like millions of dollars going out to like Bischoff, Diamond Dallas Page, what was the other guy? Razor Ramon, 4 or 5 other guys, and they never even wrestled. They're all getting $1 million a year, and they're not even wrestling. They're not going out and working house shows or to make any money. They're just collecting huge paychecks because they're Bischoff's on butt boys and on the list. And you know, and then as soon as the company saw what was going on, man, they just shut it down. That's it. Well, my contract got canceled that day too. I was like,
I mean, you know, you mentioned all those names who kind of get the big money. Hogan does get lumped in with that as well. Is that fair or unfair for him to get kind of lumped in with the guys who make loads of money but don't do a lot of shows?
I don't know. He made a lot of money, man. I mean, there's no question. He was responsible for bringing and putting a lot of people in the stands. You know, doing the NWO, the Hogan, Hollywood. I thought it resurrected him, really gave him some new life, and there, you know, the people, you know, it was over. You know, it was a good thing, but yeah, we wound up just doing more movies and